Here's a compilation of some student critique shorts that I've made over the last year, going over their submissions. I just want to say that these are students in my mentorship group, so they specifically asked me what I would do to improve their art. I'm not just randomly giving feedback to people that didn't ask for it. That would be rude. So let's see if we can improve some art. Woohoo! This was submitted by Livia, a student of my art school program. She wanted to see how this could be better, so let's see if we can improve it in 1 minute. It's a beautiful painting already. Look at this. It can always be better though, so I would start by getting rid of these awkward empty spaces, dead spaces. The simplest way I see would be to make the moon bigger while still leaving it off center. Let's add some glare too. And let's also have the character occupy more of the space. No more dead space. Since the light source is behind him, I think we could also darken the front of his figure where the moonlight won't be able to reach, and instead focus that light on the edge of his silhouette where it can reach. See how the values were getting lost in the background before? Now it pops a lot more. We could stop here, but I think having two lights in the scene usually looks better. A cool one and a warm one to complement each other. So this subtle orange light coming from the right helps warm up his face and brings our attention to it, because warm colors tend to catch the attention a lot more than cool colors. Small changes. Did it help? This was submitted by Mario. He wanted feedback on this portrait, so let's see if we can improve this in 1 minute. This looks fantastic already, so clearly Mario's been putting in the work. But there are a few minor tweaks to the proportions and colors that could potentially take this up a notch. So let's start by leveling up the eyes horizontally. Misplacing the eyes by just a little bit can completely change the face, so always spend extra time on those. The shading on her left side is also very gray looking, but we can warm up the colors to make them feel more alive by using the color balance tool. Looking at the photo, we can also find some reference points that are a little off, like the side of the jaw here. See how it creates a straight line? It's important to search for those reference points everywhere to accurately draw from reference. And we can just use the liquify tool to move things around slightly. Let's also add some more shadows around the eyes because the values are a little too bright. Same with the lip. And maybe let's tone down the highlights on the right cheek, again to better match the values from the reference. Small changes. Did it help? This was submitted by James, a student in my art school program. He wanted help fixing the overall values. So let's see if we can improve it. We can definitely feel the volume, the roundness of the head if we blur out the details, so it's got a lot going for it already. We do lose a ton of details in the shadows though, which contributes to making the shading look flat. So let's go darker to punch in some details, like the eyelid folds, the nostrils, the shadows cast by the chin, the nose, eye sockets, and also add shadows to the upper lip because a light source coming from above like this wouldn't be able to reach it, like it can reach the lower lip. Let's do the rest of the body too while we're at it. That alone makes a big difference. But let's also go lighter in the values to make the sides facing the light brighter than the rest. Now the contrast is still too low in the shadows, making it hard to see what's going on, so we can just add a secondary light, just bright enough to reveal some of the details lost in the shades. Small changes, big impact. Did it help? This was submitted by Becca. She wanted help with the facial features and lighting in general, so let's see if we can improve it. She has nice features already, but the lighting is too diffuse and it makes her skin look unnaturally smooth. Also, the face is a little dark if we compare the skin color with the rest of the body. With the light in this illustration coming from this direction, we can use a reference head like this to help us decide where the highlight should go. Now, the face is bright enough, but the neckline and the chest areas don't match the light. If we simplify the body shapes, we'll find this big rectangle box for the shoulders and torso, and these spheres for her twins. If we apply the same logic to the character, we get something like this, and with light we'll usually get cast shadows, so like the reference shows here. So the head, the twins, and the arm will all cast shadows too. Small changes, big impact. Did it help? This was submitted by Ryan, a student of my art school program. He wanted help with the overall face, specifically the nose. Let's see if we can improve it. Ryan's made some huge progress in the last 12 months since he submitted this one. There's always room for improvement though. So let's start by sliding the face down to better match Loomis's head proportion, where the eyes are generally centered vertically within the head shape. Now, the nose is in the right place, but it could look better by removing most of the black lines that define it, and replacing those with just simple shading and two subtle nostrils. And we can apply the same treatment to the lips, replacing the black outlines with clear shapes to help define them in a way that looks cleaner. Finally, let's keep his own lighting setup here, where the light seems to be coming from the left, with highlights here and shadows there. But let's push those shadows some more to give the face more volume and kind of reveal the hidden potential. And might as well do the same with the hair real quick. Small changes, big impact. Did it help? This was submitted by David. He wanted help making this portrait look more attractive, so let's see if we can improve it. The facial features look great, and that's usually the hard part, but the lighting makes her head seem too small. We can help define her silhouette better with some light in the background to fix that problem, and let's quickly adjust the hairline while we're at it. The shading is also a bit too harsh, which gets rid of all the nice halftones that you would normally get with the smooth transition from light to dark. Cast shadows often have sharp outlines like we see here, which we can also spot there. So we'll leave those, but smooth out all the other transitions. The eyeballs also seem off, mainly because they're missing the shadow the eyelids would cast. So let's add that all around the eyes, and maybe give her also a few more eyelashes for cuteness. And then we can finish off the face with some specular highlights that seem to be missing from the skin shading entirely. Small changes, big impact. Did it help? This was submitted by Artie Addy. She was happy with the result, but she wanted to see if I had some feedback, so let's see if we can improve this. This drawing looks great as is indeed, so I'll leave it. But I think we could feature the glow of the flower more by tweaking the overall lighting. It's often counterintuitive, but to make something feel brighter rather than adding light, the best route is often to darken some areas instead to increase the contrast. I just added the core shadows that were missing on the hair and parts of the body, because most of this won't be able to receive the light from the flower since it's facing the opposite direction. Looks a little flat now because it's missing the occlusion shadows, so we can add those in all of the deepest areas like cracks and crevices, corners where the light gets sandwiched and can't escape easily, like in between the neck and the hair here. I think this helps, but if we check the values, we can see the silhouette gets lost in some areas. So to fix that, we can increase the light on her chest and add bounce light along the back of her figure as a result of a new light source behind her. Now the silhouette is clear all around, but let's not forget the hair highlights to complete the shading. Small changes, big impact. Did it help? This was submitted by Inkantrix. They wanted feedback on proportions, colors, everything. Let's see if we can improve this in 1 minute. This drawing looks awesome already, so clearly what's most needed is some self-confidence. But we might be able to take this up a level by focusing on the lighting. It looks like the main light source is coming from this direction based on the shading on her face, and if so, the cast shadows, what you get when something partially blocks the light from reaching a different surface, seems to be missing in some areas. Like the arm and the chest might block the light from reaching part of her stomach. Large areas of low contrast like the hair and the tail can also make things look a little flat, but we can add a simple gradient with a soft brush to add more variety to the values, and as a bonus, guide the eye from a darker region to a lighter one towards the focal point, which is usually the face of the character. This way things read better. Oh, and the colors were great, with warmer colors also helping guide the eye towards the focal point, but let's warm them up even more to improve the balance between warm colors and cool colors for maximum aesthetics. Did it help? And before we check out the last ones, if you're also interested in taking your art to the next level, like my dear students have, I'll leave a link to it down in the video description. The big summer sale is still going on for a little while, so check down below to know exactly when it ends, and we'll take advantage of a massive discount on the full program. Just one payment for lifetime access, no subscription nonsense. All right, let's see the rest. This was submitted by Sean, a student of my art school program. He wanted help with the final polish of his drawing, so let's see if we can improve this in 1 minute. The composition could use a little help. The first thing I noticed is all this dead space around the character and how she feels like she's trapped in between two invisible lines. A background might have saved it, but instead, let's get a closer shot of her, centered in the frame this time. Before we worry about the rest of the empty space, let's adjust her sleeve because it doesn't match the perspective of her arm. If we simplify those down to simple cylinders, we can see how they fit better now. Her neck is also off-center, so let's adjust its position relative to the shoulders. That's better, but there's still a lot of dead space left, so we could move her arms out a little to occupy some of it. Not enough. Oh, one more thing we could do here is imagine there's something off camera casting shadow on the character, and use a dark blue color for those shadows to offset the otherwise very warm color palette. Small changes. Did it help? This was submitted by Vanessa. She wanted help defining her face more, so let's see if we can improve it. This is an awesome portrait, but the face does look a bit flat, primarily because the balance between darker and brighter values isn't there. The values overall are just too bright, and we can see this best when we desaturate the colors. It's like there's no shading. First though, let's adjust the size of her head. If she was rocking the same haircut as me, she would need a head this big to fill up the space. So something like this instead would fit better, considering realistic proportions would have the eyebrow line at about half the height of the head in that angle. Now we can adjust the hair to the new head shape. Her left iris is also much smaller than the right, so let's make it bigger. Now, if I bring back the reference, the perspective of the head suggests that we probably wouldn't be able to see the other nostril, so be gone. Her neck also seems to be attached unnaturally, so let's push it forward along with her jawline. Minor adjustments so far, but what's really gonna give this more definition will be the lighting. So I can choose a random light direction, maybe coming from her left side, and finally add a quick shadow pass to help define her features. Small changes, did it help? And well, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I have a bunch more, so I'll probably make another one like this soon. I'll see you in the next one.